My guest for today's episode. We have Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil.
Entire town got together and they burnt my effigies in the fires.
No.
In the palace.
Really? We have Rani Kohinoor.
Then he said that, but you know what? You're not my gay child or my straight child, you're my child, and that's the end of it.
They blocked me. They said, how can you use a photograph of the prince without him coming to know? And I'm telling them I'm the same person. They are not believing.
This is what we pay our internet bill for.
I am really excited to introduce my guest for today's episode. We have Rani Kohinoor, who is an actor, performer, and overall trailblazer, and who has redefined what it truly means to be a queen in every sense. And alongside Rani, we have Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil, whose journey has inspired millions around the world and is also the co-founder and MD of Search Engine Inclusion and Impact. Welcome to another episode of the Durex podcast. And I think today's topic is something that really needs to be discussed. You know, there's so little information about sex, sexuality, and gender. And I can't imagine for the LGBTQIA community, it's even less.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was different for me because growing up in a royal family was another experience. And then growing up as gay in a royal family and closeted initially was another experience.
So, with all this history behind us and being a royal, I'm sure you must have so many stories about royalty and how.
Now I'm a guest. Now I'm here to
No, I'd love to come to you.
Yeah.
We're just starting over there. That's the
I
appetizer.
love it. I want to. This is what we pay our internet bill for. Please.
There's one very interesting thing which I want to point out is that in most palaces, if you see in India, there is a very typical homosocial behavior. Now, what is the homosocial behavior is that you go to any palace, or rather most of palaces, there is a separate defined areas for men and there's a separate defined area for women.
Okay.
So in the area where men are residing, there will be only men. You know, so
Yeah.
there'll be like the Maharaja will be there and, you know, his butlers and this and that. And
This is the residential
yes,
part.
Yes, this is the residential part. I mean, that's the same in my palace also in Rajpipla.
Yeah.
And then there's will be a queen's palace where there will be only the women, you
Yeah.
know. So that was the atmosphere I was raised in, and I was kind of happy, you know. I said, "Wow, this is a God-sent thing that you know I'm in the king's palace," and
Yeah.
so that was something which I was raised as.
Yeah.
And so for me to see men, you know, semi-naked men running around the home and, you know, doing chores and work and all was natural, you know. I never thought that this was something which will be seen as not accepted kind of a thing. But if I have to go to a girl or meet a girl, no, not allowed. You cannot meet a girl, you
Yeah.
know. But boy, he
It's
can bathe
fine.
you. He can bathe you. He can do anything with you. That's fine.
And that's fine.
So that's how I have been raised. I mean, that was my culture.
Then, I mean, I want to get to more of growing up royal, but there's a point here that I want to ask for both of you, which is your sexuality. Like, because there's a lot of information out there, disinformation out there that, oh, you are converted to being a gay, or you're influenced, or there's a chemical imbalance, blah, 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 blah. But in the natural course of things, where there's a spectrum of sexuality, when did you kind of feel like, yeah, I'm attracted to men? And that as a kid, you don't even know what sexuality
Yeah.
is. You just know what attraction is.
Right.
When did you start feeling that attraction? And that same question goes to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so like when I was growing up, I was in a co-ed school and the girls in my class were my best friends. In fact, I had more girlfriends than boyfriends in school, but
Yeah.
no attraction towards them. Like it was just
Yeah.
Gal pals.
And boys, I kind of liked them, but I was not happy to be in their company and all that. But I did have crush on some of them as well. But I actually did not know that what I'm doing is something called homosexuality.
Yeah, that's a natural
Because
expression.
none of us knew because we weren't educated. But to
Yeah.
your first question, when we said that, you know, we live in a conservative society, it's unfortunately become surprisingly conservative now.
Yeah.
Because I think India as a country has always been very celebratory of various diversity in gender and orientation. So I think somewhere down the line we have forgotten that we've not imbibed all the fabulosity and the plethora of culture that we really actually have. And we've actually westernized ourselves. So, homosexuality is not a foreign import. I always say homophobia is.
Yes.
Because even Section 377 was a British law.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a Mughal
And
or an
they
Indian
amended
one.
it before us.
Of course,
So
they did. They
They
moved
have
on.
equal marriages and
Yeah.
we don't. So it's
But I mean, if you're saying we're conservative now as we were compared to, let's say, 1,000 years ago,
because we are still aping the West, na?
that's puritanical.
They don't. We have the oldest transgender community. The
Yeah.
Hijra community is the oldest transgender community
So what
in
you're
the world.
speaking of is the
Which is why I said that,
Yeah.
for us to have kept 377 for so much, so
Yeah.
long after they left,
Yeah.
was just unconstitutional to say the least. And also, it didn't make sense because we have, in our history and our culture, have had many, many references about homosexuality. And
I would like to add on this. I absolutely agree to what Rani has to say. But I mean, I am proud of being an Indian, and I'm proud
Yeah.
of the Indian culture because we have the world's oldest sex encyclopedia,
exactly.
which is the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
And believe me, but I do have one of the original copies
No.
in the palace.
Really?
Yes, we have,
Wow.
and I have gone through it. It's not in a very good shape now. It's
neither
old
is
is
my
it?
boyfriend, but please give it to him.
but the Kama Sutra, I have read it and I've seen the illustrations. We had a whole chapter on homosexuality.
Yes.
I'm sure.
There's a whole chapter on homosexuality, on lesbianism, on transgenderism, and this was written, mind you, 500 years even before Jesus Christ was born.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, this is what the British would have looked at and said they
Exactly.
were uncivilized.
So why?
Yes, that's right.
yeah.
That's why
You're
we were
absolutely
uncivilized.
right.
So
Absolutely.
my take is that why did we even have a law which was based on the Victorian morals?
Values.
Why couldn't we have a law which is based on the Kama Sutra? Yeah, look at the homoerotic forms of statues and sculptures in our temples. Where have
Yeah.
they come from? I mean, Khajura is of course a known temple. In Gujarat, we have a temple in a city called Dahod. I
Yeah.
myself gone there and I have taken photographs of these sculptures and statues which are so homoerotic in nature,
Yeah.
and yet we don't want to talk about sex, and there's so much of homophobia.
And yet we are one of the most populated countries. The irony.
Yeah, so because see, these topics are, it's not that they are uncommon. There has been homosexuality in royal
Are you
families.
saying it's natural? Wow.
Yeah, but it's only restricted within that the four walls of the palace is called. So for them to to expect that I will be breaking the protocols and declaring was something which nobody was prepared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the first reaction which came, the first reaction was the entire town got together and they burnt my effigies in the fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they had to call police to control the mob. It was a mob. You know how a mob mentality is. I wasn't there. I was in Bombay and Mumbai, and there was 5,000 people on the streets and it just coincided with this holy festival. Where you are going to actually
Wow.
burn the fire, and they made effigies of mine and they threw it in the fire.
Wow.
Shouting slogans that he has brought shame and humiliation to not just to the royal family but to entire Indian culture, and we should excommunicate him, exile him. We should not be allowed to socially boycott him, and those kind of things.
So, when somebody is gay and they're closeted,
Yeah.
when they see another person
Yeah.
that's living their life authentically and openly, they choose not to be with this person, but with the majority that shuns them or vilifies them.
Yeah.
And that is because they see that, if we are with the majority, we'll be safe.
Exactly. I was
And so
thinking just
let's
that.
attack our fellow queer person,
And
although he's like me.
Like we
only.
are just the same. Yeah, it's a way to protect themselves and
Yes.
distinguish themselves. Yeah, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
And that would be
and then they'll go to the ends of the earth
extreme lengths.
to with malice.
Because I've
and-
always believed anybody who's extremely homophobic is probably
Yes.
closeted.
See,
Because
because
why would
I'm
you
like-
care so much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And also, not all of us we're not fucking all the time. For God's sake.
I know.
You know, I mean, what do you think we are?
There are
Also.
people are
And we're definitely not fucking the
Yeah.
people that are scared of us.
But what about you growing up? I mean, him being the royal, there was a whole town up against burning his effigy.
Yes.
That is not to take away from what your journey may have been. It may not be the whole town burning your effigy, but
I only burnt my own effigy. There then from Sushant Rani came, from the flames.
oh wow.
Yes.
So, like, how was it for you? When did you know growing up? When did you have a feeling? How did you come out to your family? How did they react?
You know, and I'm going to apologize at the onset to Milind Soman. Um,
White
I was, I think, 4, and I saw him on television coming out of a treasure chest. And
You knew.
yes, because for the entire song didn't do anything to me. And then when Milind Soman came out of that treasure chest, I was like, finished.
At
2
4.
words, Milind
Yeah.
Soman. Because you know, you have that way where you're just like, how can somebody look this amazing?
He still looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then it got crushed because he's a family friend. So
Okay, so you were really young, obviously. You were
Yes.
aware that you were attracted to men.
Yes.
When were you aware that that was considered unnatural?
so you know, I never came out to my parents. My father is. I have to say, my parents are the most amazing parents.
Yeah.
So my father actually laid the red carpet and asked me, "Are you queer? Are you gay?" And
How
I
old
was
were
like,
you?
I was 17, 18.
Okay, that time.
And I had actually not come out to him. I'd come out to my brother first.
Okay.
But he couldn't clearly keep it in his stomach. So he must have gone and
Obviously.
told my father. He insinuated. He said that, do you know that Sushant attends queer LGBT events? So my father, being my father, is like, what is it to you? Is this some sort of sibling rivalry? It's not affecting me. If he has to come and say whatever, he'll come. It's
He'll
his
say
thing.
it.
No, he'll come and tell me.
Okay.
So, but then my father asked me, and then one thing my father has always taught my brother and I is never to lie, because then to cover that
There's
is
so many more
just
lies.
imagine covering all this now. Now where you know,
Yeah.
and so my father asked me, and he said, "Are you gay?" And when I was Sushant, and I said, "Yes, Dad." So he just gave me a big hug, and he said that, "But you know what? You're not my gay child or my straight child. You're my child, and that's the end of it."
Yeah.
And I think that that is just the best parenting I have ever
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm a mother today, and
Yeah.
I have kids, but I don't think I can be even, 0.5 of what my percent of what my father was to me. And he said that, and then he goes ahead and is even better. It gets better. He says that, I don't know much, so I'm going to read up. And if I ask you questions, please don't get upset.
Mm.
I want to know. So I'm
want
going
to
to do my research, and I'm going to study, and I'm going to read about it.
Mhm.
But please know that I will be, and he was working for the government, and
Yeah.
he was, so he could have easily, pushed it under the carpet and said that, I'm disinheriting you. This is not done. You're my son. And,
Yeah.
but none of that. He just said that you didn't choose to be born to us.
Yeah.
We were blessed to have you. And as am I, I'm blessed to have my parents.
Yeah.
So it's never about sexuality or orientation as much as it is about the feeling of, family. And
Yeah.
in queer relationships, we have chosen families.
Yeah.
So the ones that don't get the love from their mothers and fathers, we
Fathers.
become that for them.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
the beauty of it. I have
Yeah.
to say, he does the most magnificent work for the community, whether it's in Gujarat or all over India. I'll tell you one secret, which he never knew that I'm going to say this, but
Uh-oh.
every month, 6 organizations I know of get a check from him so that they can run, they can get their ration, they can get their education, they
Nice.
go and rehabilitate children from sex work. And this
Yeah.
is the person that this person is, So really, you are really
That's
royal.
really amazing. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
we have to do something for our people, We have to uplift them. We have
And
to empower
never,
them.
no PR, nothing, no marketing, nothing. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that, thank you
I mean,
for doing what you
already
do.
coming out within the community that you come from. I mean, has been an inspiration for a lot of people.
And see,
you
then
know.
you're using your privilege
You're
for the
using your
good.
privilege in the right way.
And that's what's even more spectacular, because there are a lot of
And I
people
think-
that we know in our industry
Yeah.
that say that no, because I think it's comfortable for me to say, and okay, that's your journey, that's great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then I have seen people make films that are terrible,
Yeah.
and you have the choice to then correct that.
Yeah, I think it's your
character.
choice to come out or to not come out.
Yeah,
but,
that.
Yeah.
But
but to then kind of, as you said,
write such bad characters. Then,
to mock,
I mean, who
Yeah,
are
to-
you
yeah.
talking to? Who
to
are your
mock and to
friends?
stereotype
yeah.
is
Yeah.
is actually doing a disservice. No one's asking you to come out,
Absolutely.
but at least
Even the way
portrayal
they
is
portray
important.
men, sometimes I feel like just slapping them. Like, what? Why are you making men feel like they're,
Yeah.
you know, they're a wall? They have no emotions and they will not cry. Boys will not cry. What rubbish
Yeah.
is this? So
Yeah.
I think now we've come a long way.
I think
you
so too.
cried in your film and you changed the game. So don't give me those two dimples because you know I love Devji. What a movie. What a movie.
That was the idea behind that was when I narrated it was basically to call out this character. He was so romanticized, but he was so typically a chauvinistic,
Yeah.
kind of false machismo. And the women were so strong in that book that I read. I was like, they shouldn't be subservient to him. In fact, my original, when I narrated to him, the Chanda character had no regrets of being an escort. She was an escort. She was actually fine with the job, and she didn't fall in love with Dave. She just pitied him. Because for me, that was more empowering. But I think we still have a long way to go.
Yes.
To
But now I think
portray that.
there are many filmmakers, and then like people like you are having these conversations with your position of privilege and power, and I think that makes the world's difference also. So thank you, Abhay.
Oh, come on, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean,
but
we need people like you. I mean,
Allies.
according to ally. Yes, you are an ally.
It's not
for
about
us.
us. I mean,
And,
me rather.
Yeah, to
No, but the A in the LGBTQI
yes,
is also allies
ally,
also,
yeah.
no?
Yeah.
and we need allies because it is the allies who are going to help us mainstream our issues in the
Yeah.
society.
Yeah,
Therefore,
yeah.
we have to work upon building more and more allies. And I mean, you are truly an ally. Thank you for
I
being that.
don't define my sexuality in
Yeah.
any way, and I've openly spoken about
Yes.
that because I also think that that's another thing that's come from the West. I think as a people we are in a spectrum. There can be
Yes.
people on one end and the other end, sure, but by and large, I don't think sexuality is defined. It's only culturally defined, but not naturally so. And I've said that pretty openly. Talking of allies, what stayed with me was how your parents have always been supportive of you.
My father has always been the first person to come to an event to support and the last person to leave. Always. And
Wow.
he's come for some of my shows, which I used to feel scared because I was doing burlesque and all. And, I was doing Lavani and all that, and Lavani is quite, sexual and all.
Yeah.
And so is burlesque. Burlesque is basically
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं मतलब कुछ है ये तो बहुत कपड़े पहने आज so but the thing is that but dad used to come for everything, so I am actually and truly blessed to be born into this family, but
And-
house rules apply.
But you could bring dates back at home, no?
No.
Even for your brother, same thing.
Same.
Yeah.
And he used to be very happy because he could go and he would drive and all that. I can't drive a car. I can drive you crazy, but no. That's what my mother says. Tu apna dekh.
Yeah.
Whenever someone there's grapevine and all, my mother will just hold on to a drink
Yeah.
or whatever, and then she'll
Yeah.
just be like, "What is it to you? I got a daughter and a son in one child.
Yeah.
Are you jealous? You should
Exactly.
be." She said,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's a journey.
Abhay is a very strange thing. One day I was just sitting and I was trying to see. I actually coined a word. This is my own creation. It's called homophobia and transition.
I love it.
You can transit a person. I mean, you know about male to female and female, but you can actually help a homophobic person transit from becoming an ally.
Yes.
Like my father or like anyone else who has been homophobic to us, you can transit them.
Yes.
How are your parents today, like with everything behind you?
My father, he kind of gave an interview to the newspaper and said that he acted in anger and he did regret that, and he has full-heartedly accepted me. Not just that, today he has gifted me 15 acres of a royal establishment.
Nice.
Where I'm developing a LGBT community
nice.
center.
Yeah.
It was one of our very old
You
royal
are highly
properties.
active in the sort of space of philanthropy and helping
Yes,
the community.
yes, yeah.
What is it that you...
he also laid the foundation stone of that center. So you can
Okay.
imagine how
Yeah.
the wheel changed.
completely
Like
changed.
from a homophobic father, today he is someone who is accepting
A
me
huge
full-heartedly and telling other people to accept me. So he's in a true sense an ally.
How was it though then being in a society where it's so closeted, how is it looking for love, finding love, having relationships? I think with the gay community, because it's so underground, people have to resort to what back in the day was called cruising. I think it still happens. I mean, how was it growing up gay in a society where you couldn't openly be gay? And as a heterosexual person, you could go out, you could hold hands, you had places you were accepted, but if you were gay, there was nothing to do, nowhere to go and
Uh,
seek.
yeah, it was
Oh,
there were these sites, so where we could sort of through the desktop we would find people around us and then go on a date and get to
oh,
know them and stuff like that. But I think during their time there was not even that.
No, we didn't
There
have
was
that.
no
Yeah.
computers
No,
only, so
nay.
no internet, no mobile phone for that
yeah.
matter.
Shit. So
Yeah.
what?
But very interestingly, there was a magazine which was brought out called the first gay newsletter. Somewhere it came out in the late 80s, and
Okay.
that had a pen pal section. So you could go on that, and then you to write, and that letter
Write to
will
the
go to a
person.
post box number, and then so that was our way of dating. I mean, of course, we don't know how far it would go, but yeah, that was the only source, where you could
Yeah.
meet people and
Yeah.
converse with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that it's also better to meet people in person than to be catfished.
Yeah.
Does that happen with
Of
you?
course, not with me, but with everyone.
Yeah, a
nah.
lot of
They'll-
people,
They'll
there's,
put your pictures also on the on and all there.
Yeah.
You'll see your
yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. And in fact, my case, it happened opposite. I have also been on and all, and I put my picture, and people have blocked.
They don't believe.
No, people don't believe me. In
Yeah.
fact, blocked me.
Impersonating.
Yeah.
You're
They
impersonating.
they
How
thought
can
I'm
you
an
be?
imposter, and they blocked me. They said, "How can you use a photograph of the prince without him coming to know?" And I'm telling them I'm the same person. They are not believing.
Now they
Yeah.
apparently have a video call option so
Yeah.
that you can confirm that
Verify.
this is your
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is I'm not no longer on. I
Yeah.
yes.
So Rani, I'd like to know, like, when you first started venturing out in the world of dating and experiencing sex, sexuality, body, how and where did it start?
I was going to say when I was younger, and then I realized I still,
still
am,
young.
sort of. No, so when I was in my 20s, when I was teenager, I was absolutely boring because I used to think
Really?
that koi aayega aise slow motion mein daudte hue, and then they'll ask you out and all.
Are you okay to tell us what age you were when you had your first sexual experience?
21.
Oh, okay, late bloomer.
I'm telling you. Yes. And I had it also on his birthday because so that I don't forget.
Okay.
I was very lazy like that. But
Okay.
but I had it with this wonderful boy. And, he was slightly older than I was. The best. I gave my virginity to the best person.
Yeah.
I don't think he believes that of me. But you see...
And that time you weren't dressing up as a woman, you were still dressed as a boy.
I was always androgynous.
Okay.
So I was always fluid with my expression.
Okay.
Even when I was a VJ on television, I was not like I was doing these funky hairstyles and haircuts and colors and, all sorts of things. And I
But
kind
Rani hadn't come about at that
Rani
time.
hadn't come
No,
out.
you was just-
She was always there.
She was always there, but
She would come out
yeah.
in bits and pieces,
Yeah.
and then
she wasn't defined. Let's
she
say.
wasn't defined, So I had to really break down Sushant to understand that Sushant has always been Rani.
Yeah.
So it took me only, see, you can't expect somebody else to come and tell you all of these things. You have to spend enough time with yourself. And even when it comes to sex, I realized that in my 20s, I had, except for the first time I had sex ever, it was lousy as fuck.
For most of us, actually.
And then but now it's a riot. My calendar is full. I mean, I have an alarm and all of that. And
My God.
Yes. See, I'm not going to be. I don't care what people have to say and stuff. I would have died. Abhay. My house caught fire last year. I would have died. So now it's extended life. I will do whatever, and as long as I'm not hurting anyone.
Exactly.
Consensual sex with another adult.
Yeah.
I mean, and now they don't complain because I know what pleasures me, and I know similarly what might pleasure him.
Yeah.
So, it's just.
So
it's
what do you
great.
mean by when you say what pleasures me? What does pleasure you?
I think that I have understood certain aspects of myself in when I'm active in bed, and
Yeah.
or when I'm with a partner, or
Yeah.
even when I'm with myself. I have actually gotten the best orgasms by myself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. And yes, so that is very important because, see, in the 20s till the 30s, I believe, is when you also come truly into your own form for a lot of people, because you experience so many things. You have your own money, you start living by yourself in India. Because till then, tum Raja beta ho na, tum mama chai banayegi.
He's still Raja
and
beta, what are you
this-
saying?
Not you. You are the exception to the rule.
As he is literally a Raja.
Literally a Raja. हम तो थूक मिट्टी से रानी बोलते हैं. But I realized that, the teenage and 20s are research. And 30s is when, you are, you look I feel you look your best, and it just gets better then. I believe.
So tell me, what does let's send good sex mean to you?
Yeah, so from that, going from that experimental stage to a point where I got the opportunity to date men
Yeah.
and these dating
Correct.
apps or these pen pal sections, and then going into more serious relationships. I mean, I've had a couple of relationships. Now I'm with a man for last 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Very
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Going
You
to
must
say.
see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
husband. We'll probably pop up a picture. Is always
Yeah.
dressed in finery and is always, discussing what show we should go for next.
Yeah.
What theater, drama. I love him.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
people get confused. Who's the prince? He's more dressed, more well dressed than me. When
Yeah.
I
in
didn't see
in,
that.
in, in
Is he from India? Is
he's an American.
He's American? Okay.
and but
These shoes and you show.
Yeah.
Don't lift your leg.
yeah, I saw
Late.
the shoes are amazing.
in fact, he
Jimmy
styles me. He styles
Okay.
me. He
Yeah.
tells me what you should wear and what
Yeah.
will look nice on you and
Yeah.
what will make me look more sexy. Yeah.
And you're in your early 30s now, right?
Mid.
Mid 30s.
Thanks,
and,
but
I said earlier I gave you a
I
chance
love
to
it.
lie.
I love you, Abhay. I love you.
You don't look beyond 30 to me.
Thank you.
But yeah, so where are you now? What is let's send good sex mean to you?
What was our first introduction to sex porn?
Yeah.
It was not sex education.
Yeah.
And unfortunate as it is, although now pornography is banned, but it was rampant.
Yes.
Even now, you take any, adolescent's phone, you'll see. And it's sad, but, it is, then teach them, no? That
Yeah.
you teach them how to go from good to great.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to be safe. And to, so then, you don't have to save on all the contraceptions and stuff like that. And we can invest in dildos and rabbits. But
Well, talk about dildos and rabbits and being safe. I'm like, do you all use lubes and
Honey,
tools?
oh my gosh,
and
I have an entire room. And it's because I just, I guzzy up for myself.
Yeah.
And if my partner is there, then he's lucky that night. But, so he also joins in the festivities.
Yeah.
But it's me celebrating me because I'm in that moment the queen of my orgasm.
Yeah.
And, I've come, oh my God, I said,
No, you haven't come yet.
not yet. I'm sitting on it. I'm sitting on that one. But I realized that it is very, very, very important to also understand your partner.
Yeah.
See, because otherwise, sex is not just the mechanical act of penetration.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that.
Yes, yes,
It is,
definitely.
fellatio, it is body play, it is so many things that you can do and experience and discover.
That brings me to some what we call myth busting,
Okay.
I think. All right, now let's see. Like, these are the myths that we have come across, and you tell us, have you come across them? What do you feel about them? If a trans woman dates a straight man, it means the man is gay.
For example, when I express myself in the feminine,
Yeah.
if a man is attracted to my femininity, it doesn't make him gay. It will make him curious or at the most pansexual
Yeah.
or what are these new terms, and bisexual or one of those. But it won't make him gay because from what angle do I look like a mushtanda? You
Yeah.
know? And so, matlab, it's that.
Yeah.
Having said that, he's also aware that I'm not a woman.
That's what I mean. It's kind of confusing.
And that's curious. It's curiosity.
Yeah.
So, but that's a phase. A
Yeah.
phase is not your whole life.
Lesbians are straight women who secretly hate men.
My goodness, I don't know from where this myth has also come. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I mean, why
It's
would
a straight male.
yeah, I mean, why would we fake ourselves, you know? I mean, if you're gay, you're gay. If you're lesbian, you're lesbian. I mean, why will any straight woman say that, something like that?
I hate when
yeah,
someone
It is
pretend to love women.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially when it's considered such a taboo. Why would a woman
Exactly,
come out and
right?
say,
Right,
I'm
right.
lesbian? Or why would I say
Yeah.
I'm trans? If I was born a man and in a
Such
patriarchal system.
Queer people, we said this, queer people are more sexually promiscuous than straight people. Oh. I know some really promiscuous straight people, so.
yeah. I mean,
I have had very straight people say that, we've never done it with anyone else, but we would like to try. What am I, some lab rat? What I'm some lipstick shade that you will try? What am I, some tarkar?
You've had a lot of straight men come on
Yeah.
to you.
Married and
married and all.
and
Yeah,
all.
I know.
Like,
I call them trisexual.
All queer people fit mainstream stereotypes. For example, gay men are effeminate and lesbians are masculine.
I mean, it could be the other way around. They could be straight men who could be feminine.
as you
well.
said
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
yes,
Not
you mentioned.
necessary, and you can have straight women who are masculine also. So you
correct.
cannot just generalize this and
Correct.
say that.
Yeah.
People are people in so many, so many colors and so many personalities and the way they are.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it beautiful, because if everybody was the same blueprint
Yeah.
version of you, you are exactly like me, I'm exactly like you, it would be so boring.
Boring,
Yeah. People don't realize
Just imagine
that.
that's like the epitome of go fuck yourself, because then you'll be fucking the next person and that'll be like just exactly like you.
LGBTQIA relationships are less stable than heterosexual relationships.
Excuse me? Do you want to refute that? Because mine doesn't last 12 hours, but 12 years. 12 years.
Yeah, but yeah, see, and that also an American, not even from an Indian background and Indian culture. I mean,
Yeah.
still we have come out of a memoir also, and we talked about our relationship and how we. I mean, there are heterosexuals who I know who just pretend they are in a relationship of a husband and wife,
But
just
they're
to
not,
show to
yeah.
the world. At least we are not doing that. We are living an organic life, and we are.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say orgasmic, and I was like, okay,
No, not
this is...
organic.
Oh, that also.
Organic, yeah.
That also.
Yeah.
Queer people are always trying to recruit others to join the
I'm
LGBTQIA
telling you.
community.
I have a club. I have a member. It's a membership only. Okay. So on Mondays you're gay. On Sundays again you become straight.
Oh.
It's like that. It's a holiday, no? So it's a button you press.
Give a
suddenly.
package
Yeah,
deal.
so it's clearly true then.
It is.
Queer people only hang out with other queer people.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of straight friends. So they're fine with me. I hang around with
When
them.
we went to school and college, what was everyone straight or gay or whatever? They were children. Let children be children. Let people be people. Now what is this? Now you are hanging out with this one,
Yeah.
that one.
But I do feel like, there are areas which are more like considered gay areas, like especially in LA, for example. And it can be quite toxic, but my theory was that if you've, sort of excommunicated them, demonized them, they're going to go find safe spaces and collect
Exactly,
together.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of true they hang with the queer people, but that's also because they don't find themselves
yeah.
accepted.
सबसे problem होता है कि यहाँ
In
ये
non-
भी मत करो वो भी मत करो कहाँ जाएं?
Right? Exactly. So they will end up then
Then,
coming
you know,
together
yeah.
and
You
find
don't
safe
want to
spaces.
talk to us. You want to vilify us.
Yeah,
not
so
you.
then-
Huh?
yeah, I know what you mean.
But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want to vilify us. But then when
Yeah.
we're hanging out with our kind and
Yeah.
our
It's like you only hang out with your own type.
So what do you want?
So yeah, asexual people just haven't met the right person yet.
I mean, see, like how it's a kind of a sexuality. So you can be bisexual, you can be homosexual, heterosexual, and asexual. So
I think it's hard for people to accept anyone who doesn't have sexual feelings. Bisexual people are just indecisive and will eventually pick a side.
yeah.
How fun is it to be attracted to nearly everybody in the room? How cool is that? I would want that superpower.
It's
Yeah,
it's
no, but
definitely
Abhay, I want to add something to this bisexuality part. Most of gay men, I would say, maybe even in with lesbian also. I do a lot of counseling. When they are coming out, they will not say we identify as gay.
Gay or lesbian, yes.
Yeah, they say we are
bisexual.
bisexual. Because
Yeah.
bisexuality brings you closer to heterosexuality.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of a convenience,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they are not actually bisexual.
Yeah.
They have no attraction
But
towards.
there are people who are bi or there aren't.
Yeah, there are people who are bi.
Yeah,
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 Absolutely.
yeah,
yeah. Getting married is not the litmus test that you are bisexual.
yeah.
There, I know so many. Yeah, there are so many of us who are married to women, but they're not necessarily bisexual. They are gay. They have no attraction to us, but because it's a societal pressure which
Yeah.
forces them to get married.
Yes.
you know?
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Non-binary people are just trying to be trendy.
Gender assigned to you at birth is, yes, a male or female, but that doesn't discount people who are intersex
Yeah.
at birth. Okay, so for you to say that there are only two sexes is
Well,
just
first of all,
biologically also
biologically
wrong.
speaking, you could be hermaphrodite, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
That
intersex.
is-
Intersex,
Ah,
yeah.
that's
Now it is called
that's
intersex. Yeah.
intersex?
The word hermaphrodite is not used now,
Okay, I
but,
didn't know.
but
So
the word intersex is
we have
being
both,
used. Yes.
both
Yes,
genders.
yeah, you know-
You're born with both genders.
Both born with yeah.
Genitalia or neither also.
Yeah, or neither of them also.
Yes.
So,
Really
yeah.
can be neither?
Yeah. They can
Wow.
be neither. Yeah. So that's when, that's the doctor who's giving birth will tell you, whether
Yes.
the child is a male or female. But in the case of intersex, it's not able to determine.
Like for me, I feel everybody has the masculine and feminine within them. But how do you explain this to an uneducated public? How do you find that sort of openness or empathy to see? I mean, it'll only benefit them to realize that the human body isn't just black and white.
I have decided not to give a fuck. It's good for my hair. It's good for my body. And I just think that the same internet connection that allows you to bark nonsense and, hurl baseless accusations and, say all these nasty things, the same internet connection, you can just type 3 words and you'll get all the information on that. So if you choose to be ignorant, what the fuck am I
That's
gonna do?
yesterday I was on another podcast where I was a guest, and it's funny you say this because there's a
They said the same thing.
no. We talked. I brought it up. I said that it's a quote from Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you know him, and he said, "In the age of information, ignorance is a choice." You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
And then
mean-
I also ignore them then. I'm minding my own business.
Yeah.
Today's word is business. Each one mind their own.
We'll talk about minding your own business. We have a wall of pleasure.
Oh,
Wow. What
the
else do we
pleasure
need?
wall.
What else do we need?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is, your own business as to what you do behind closed doors. And so what we have here is called the pleasure wall. And I'd like to actually show you what we have, the product, which we're going to put in a hamper and gift to you.
okay.
Yes. But you want to see what it is
Of
that,
course.
Yeah, of course. Why
that
not?
excites your business?
All right.
So welcome to the pleasure wall. Yeah. We have all sorts of fun stuff over here. So for example, we have different types of loops. There's water-based, silicone-based, natural, ingredients. We have a vibrating ring. Yeah. We have cuffs,
Ah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is getting
Yeah.
interesting.
flavored condoms, capsules for her for performance. We have more games. This is slide and ride. Yeah. When self-love.
It says excite me.
It should be sexite me.
yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk to the brand
Branding
about that.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have other games like there's a fantasy role play, something called Oralicious. Who would like to go first?
I'd like to go first.
Amazing. So, all yours. Let me give you the basket.
Yeah.
Take as many things as you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
मेरे लिए भी छोड़ना कुछ.
Yeah.
I don't want to be posed as greedy, but
Please be
condoms
greedy.
are my favorite.
Okay. So there's some flavor.
oh yeah,
ones here,
there's,
some vibrators there.
I love chocolate. I have a
Okay.
sweet tooth for chocolate, so I'm going to
Okay.
pick up that.
Okay.
Oh. Then,
Don't take all
dot-
the condoms, huh?
why?
Some.
Well, there's enough. We have
Yeah,
good
we have,
liquids, don't worry.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll leave some for you, don't worry. Extra dots. Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Take one lube also then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see which is. This is strawberry is nice.
Yeah.
Real feel.
That's some more condoms.
Skin. Oh wow,
Yeah,
nice.
Skin on skin.
Skin on skin. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I would
Yeah,
like
no
to
condoms.
take.
I'm taking it between the thighs.
No, I think I'm done.
You done?
Yeah,
Okay.
this should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, but there's some of this stuff as well. in case.
I think that.
Oh,
is,
there's more condoms there as well.
Oral ones. Yeah, I'll take a strawberry one.
Yeah. And that's gone too now.
Yeah, I think that's enough now. Yeah, but can experience
If you want
strawberry.
an extra, we can always get more.
I'll just
Don't
take
worry
some
about it.
lotion and indulge in hand jobs now. I
Yeah,
think
we
this is-
can experience strawberry in the non-strawberry season.
Yeah. But if you do want condoms, I think that's something called air.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I
okay.
should leave some
I
for
want the
her.
strawberry one.
No, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want the strawberry one? Yeah,
get
I can
now.
get it for you. Yeah. Here you go, extra thin Durex strawberry.
I don't have a choice, so I'll just. But I am.
Then
I'm
there's
so
some
happy
play cards
with
as well.
This one, this silicone
Okay.
lube is apparently supposed to. I've heard this a lot from a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it, so I'm gonna take this. It's the real feel silicone lube.
Okay.
So I will take that.
All right, then there's.
And then
some
I'm going to
cards.
take the massage lube.
Yeah, that looks interesting. A massage lube.
Yes, and most times they smell very nice also. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And yeah,
There's some
these the
role-play
only
games?
the only games I like to play are card games. So
That's
I
not the
would-
card game.
It's handcuffs.
That's
that
handcuffs.
also I'll do.
But that's a
But
card game,
I'll take that also.
and that's a card game.
Bus one.
You sure?
Yeah, but then we have to get to the sex also, no? How much?
Well, they're different card games.
One I'll take.
As in, that's
I'm not
one night
greedy.
could be that card game, another night could be that card game.
You take that. Getting a lot of ideas, but yeah, I think this is enough. I think we're done, Mamu.
Yeah, I think it's
सब हो गया
Okay,
अभी।
enough
ये
shopping,
shopping
yeah.
नहीं लेनी है।
I'm so
चलो।
glad you guys
We should
did
leave
so
this
well
for
on
some
this.
others also.
Yeah.
No, we'll add more. I was feeling
I
bad.
will also take.
Our last guest unfortunately didn't take as much as I wish they would, so I'm really happy that you all have.
Okay, yes.
But thank you guys for doing this. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Much
great.
more
It was
sexually
great. Yeah.
active.
Yeah. The married couple took only a
Some
couple of
hoes in
things.
the house.
But thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I'm
It
glad I had a
was
great time with
pleasure
you
to
guys.
have,
Thank you so
have
much.
us here. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you so
I
much.
also want to
Thank
hug you.
Oh, for sure, yes.
And you're not
Thank
going
you.
to become gay by me hugging you.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And that's it for this episode, guys. What an educational and insightful journey this was. I've learned a lot of stuff that I had no idea about before I met my guests, and I hope that was your takeaway too. And if you want to learn more, check out the Durex Birds and Bees Talk program, which covers a variety of important topics around consent, gender identity, inclusion, and a lot more through a thoughtfully designed curriculum. And as usual, if you liked the episode, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next episode of the Durex podcast. Until then, stay safe, stay sexy, and make sex great again. See you in the next one.